It's here. It's available. A brand new book with 4 brand new short stories. Adventures in space and fiction fantasy. The chanting had changed into prayer form. Formulas that came twisting and turning from each person, hanging in space above their heads. The formulas were green and mixed with the words of the prayers. They all joined and became larger and stronger before disappearing through the roof of the cave. Norman remained speechless as the dimensional numbers cascaded above, generated from the left bracket. Jim and Gale concentrated on the magnetic chair, and the number 60 flashed on and off several times. The word accepted appeared underneath as Jim sent their physical bodies on their way. The travel in the analogy was similar to floating along a long corridor of an art gallery. There were picture frames on either side of what seemed like blank canvases as they moved down. "I am impressed," uttered Gale, turning to Jim. "This building is impenetrable." "Oh, I don't know," replied Jim, as Gale knew the expression on his face and waited for the quip. "We're in." She slapped his arm gently. "You know what I mean. Impenetrable to a physical presence." "Hitting a senior officer," said Jim with a false look of surprise. "That is a serious offence." "So is murdering you," replied Gale with a straight face. "But I will refrain from that." "Always the last word," Jim laughed. Then seriously, "Let's try and find Mr. Gavin." He believed her. Only science would recognize such items. "Did you see the formulas and equations?" he asked, trying to understand the enormity of what she had seen. She nodded, looking into his eyes through their visors. "This is something of great significance. It is like looking through the eyes of God." Gloucester raised his eyebrows for a moment. "I thought you were an atheist," he said in surprise, turning towards the sphere. "I am," she replied. "If there is a God, this is the nearest thing to it." Get your special introduction to Jim Long's Space Agent. Download the free handbook now. You have just listened to excerpts from Adventures in Space and Fantasy Fiction. 4 brand new short stories in a brand new book. Download and read now. www.sciencefictionfantasy.uk. Don't forget, www.sciencefictionfantasy.uk.